You, Ron, for getting us all set up here. Either way, this man wakes up early Shabbos morning, and his wife says, "It's 10 o'clock. It's time to go to shul." Like, nah, I'm not interested. She's like, "You got to go to shul." Like, the services are so long, right? It's so long, hours and hours. The wife says, "You got to go to shul." He's like, "Yeah, but the rabbi speaks for so long. You still got to go to shul." By the time the kiddush comes out, everyone's just starving. Husband, you got to go to shul. Finally, he says, "Why do I got to go to shul?" She's like, "Well, because you're the rabbi." So the rabbi always shows up late, and I apologize for that. Okay, let us get started on our first page here. Torah Cafe, week 3. Oh, we're just getting started. There's a chair for you right here. Is that your chair, Ron? No, but from the camera. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm okay. Okay, so to get started, Torah Cafe week 3, everyone should have a page. Torah can't be written or spoken, and who is the greatest rabbi who ever lived? That was just the... Okay, so the first page, everyone should have, we already went through this, but we're going to be referencing back to here today. In the first 2 weeks, we went through just the first line. The Chumash, the Navi, and the writings. That's what we went through last week. And this week, we're going to continue down the line. Continue down the line and hold this page open. Okay, a journey through time. I hope everyone is holding on tight because we're going to start flying. Flying through about 2,000 years, just under 2,000 years. 2,000 years would be a bit too much. But just under 2,000 years, that much we can handle. And why is that? So, let's see. The topic of today's class, as was mentioned, is the oral Torah. The oral Torah. And the hope is that after today, everyone's will leave with fuller stomachs on a good bagel and fuller minds and hearts, fully versed in what is the oral Torah. There's a lot to learn. So, and we're already running late. So, let's get started. A journey through time. Is there more than one Torah? What is the oral tradition? How do we know there's an oral tradition? Why is it oral? When and why did it change? And what makes up the oral tradition? So hopefully within 45 minutes, it's a lot of information, but we'll all be very, very familiar with all there is to know about the oral tradition. So let us start with number 8. Well, number 1. There was a request from some people to make the class on the weekly Parsha. Some people wanted the weekly Parsha. Some people wanted more mysticism, more chassidus. Some people, very few people said it's good just as is. No, I'm kidding. A lot of people said it's good just as is. And so we'll start with the weekly Parsha. This is a quote from the Parsha we just read yesterday. We're already on to the next one. But a very, very important line. And in fact, just one important word here. This is from last week's Parsha. These are the laws, rules, and Torahs that God established through Moshe on Mount Sinai with the Jewish people. This is the very, very end of the third book of the 5 books, Vayikra, which we just finished yesterday. And the rabbi was speaking yesterday that Vayikra is characterized with the most laws. From all the 5 books, there's very little story. It's all laws. So at the very, very end, it finishes off. These are all the laws, rules, and Torahs. So the key word there is Torahs. We only have one, right? The Jewish people, we only have one testament. One testament, one Torah. So where does Torahs come in? There's lots of laws. There's 613, and each law has many, many rules. So there's really unlimited amount of rules, but it's all making up, or should be making up, one Torah. You know what they say? A rabbi could say a good joke. You could say once a year. You need to have a year's worth of jokes. Every year you could go through the same jokes again. A good story, right after that people forget. A good story, you could say twice a year, right? Twice a year, after 6 months, people forget the story, you could reuse the same stories. A good Dvar Torah, a good Torah class, you could say twice in a row. No one's listening. So maybe that's the Torahs, right? Moshe repeated himself and repeated himself. I remember I have a very beautiful memory that I once asked my grandfather, the rabbi's father, my father's father, blessed in memory, who passed away just 3 years ago. I once asked him that the last of the 5 books, Devarim, seems to be very, very repetitive. Again and again and again, it's all basically Moshe's last words, and the point of it is keep the Torah, keep the mitzvos, fear God, love God, and so on and so forth. So I asked him that it seems to be very, very repetitive, again and again and again. So he told me, and after all these times, have you started listening? Have you started listening yet? So it's never enough times. So maybe that's the Torahs. Maybe it's Moshe repeating himself. But that is not the case. If we go to number 2, and the Torahs, the plural is used because there are 2 Torahs, one in writing and one by word of mouth, the oral law. This verse therefore tells us that both of them were given by Hashem to Moshe on Sinai. And here you have the source, the Sifra. We'll speak about what is that today, Sifra. But in bold you have Rashi. Rashi is the foremost commentator on both the Torah and the Talmud. Most of his comments are not original, so to speak. He's quoting from the Talmud before him, different books of the Talmud. The Sifra is one of the books of the Talmud. So this explanation of what does it mean that the Torah says there are 2 Torah